Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, I'm playing the Tier 10 U.S. Destroyer Gearing. Um, if you've been following my videos for any length of time, you know I really like this ship. I think it's a really well-rounded destroyer. It's a ship that, in my opinion at least, has fared reasonably well with all of the changes that have gone into the game. Why am I bringing you this particular game? Well, of course, there's a CV in the game. That's always an added challenge. Um, but I think probably the real reason that I initially thought, well, you know what, I should record this one and share it, is that I end up facing off against two destroyers here at this cap, and you can see I've got a Johann de Witt and a Bismarck, and then the CV is this side as well. You can see that the CV, the enemy CV, is focusing on the Alpha cap, so I know that I can push, at least for the time being, toward the cap. I have to be careful. Sherman's a very deadly destroyer, of course. I'm sure you're familiar. And Henri, great guns. North Carolina, very accurate, hard-hitting guns. Brindisi. So I'm just kind of taking a look at what am I going to have to face on this side of things. And it looks to me like this is going to be really... Okay, so we got the Kagero. I was going to say it looks like it's going to be a really straightforward push onto the cap, but Kagero outspots Gearing by a significant amount, and I don't know if that's the only thing that's out here. Now, what am I doing here? I'm throwing torpedoes out in likely lanes for that North Carolina. I don't want to get spotted here. I'm going to go ahead and turn around. Kagero may already have torps on the way, so I need to angle to that. I'm just going to push a little farther into the cap to do that, so that maybe the island screens me from some torps that were thrown early. Now I have to be aware that torps can also come from the south, and that is in fact where the radio location is telling me the nearest ship is. So I'm not sure if I can sit here. If I'm going to sit here, I want to sit in front of an island, because normally, a Buki just took a big hit. Okay, so I do catch something. Normally, destroyer players don't want to throw... Okay, you saw the Holland there. They don't want to throw torpedoes into an island if they can help it. They want to keep it in the water where it can hit ships. So that's why I crossed in front of that island like that. Because then, I wasn't in the lane where the torpedoes were likely to be. And I can get guns on Holland. Now, of course, he can get guns on me too, but I was able to use the island there. Now, he was moving away, and I'm moving away a little bit. So I thought I'd be okay here, but it turns out Kagero had been spotted. And Kagero did a great job reversing there. And Holland is just going to try and make me pay. And I'm throwing torpedoes out, trying to catch the Henri, but I don't think he's going to head this way. I think I'm safe here from Kagero torps. I might be able to catch somebody with them. I've just got to try and wiggle a little bit and get out of this spot.
Smoke screen set.
Okay, so we know where the Holland is, courtesy of our CV. And I may be able to spot the Kagero. So I'm just going to sit right here. I can accelerate forward. And I've still got coverage from the smoke, so I'm going to get that shot up on the Holland and hope to do some damage. Okay, well, not much, but every little bit helps. So it's kind of interesting with two destroyers that they chose to kind of go in the same place. And you can see I accelerated forward out of the way of the torpedo strike. Don't sit in smoke. When you have a smoke DD, especially for an inexperienced, it's really easy to think, well, if I'm just hide in the smoke, I'll be fine. But it is a torpedo magnet, so once you... And I'm going to eat one of the Holland torps here. They're just so fast, they're hard to avoid. once you commit to sitting in smoke like that,
Problem solved, sir.
you are essentially putting your ship at risk unnecessarily, because you can almost be certain, and I'm just making use of the island here to break line of sight, minimizing the damage, and I don't want to lose my ship. So we're 5 minutes in, and I've lost 8,000 HP more or less, and I just want to kind of take a little break from that. I'm going to sit behind this island, let my torpedo reload work down a little bit. Now I don't want to leave the area. I want to make sure that, now you can see our Shimakaze who died already complaining, enjoy the loss, and so we've lost a Minotaur, we've lost the Izuki, which we saw take a huge hit earlier, and the Shima. But the game's not over yet. We do have the cap, and in fact we have 2 caps, and it looks like I am going to catch the North Carolina. I just kept flooding that lane, hoping to catch somebody. I think Henri is going to be able to avoid that torpedo, but I do land 3 in the North Carolina. And the torpedoes are almost back up. So I'm going to push down here, and I'm going to get that lane right there where you can see my indicator. And I'm going to try and finish off the North Carolina. Just in case there's a DD that rolled out that way, I'm going to throw them a little bit farther north. I'm going to go back to my original position. I'm going to try and use this island in the center to cover me from torpedo strikes. You can see I'm radio located, so they have some idea where I am. We're down 3 ships. The bad guys are only down 1. If I can finish that Kagero, I think that'll help a lot. So that's going to be my focus, is to try to catch the Kagero. He's probably still hiding behind the islands, kind of doing what I'm doing. And though his guns hurt a lot, the Imperial Japanese Navy destroyer guns as a whole hit really hard, but the reload is really long. So I do have an edge at this kind of range if he is close, and it's really just a question of whether I can spot him. Okay, so there's the Holland. I'm spotted, so he's got to be in front of me. There he is. I can smoke up. Still have time to be able to finish off the Kagero. Hopefully I can get him this time. And I do.
Enemy destroyer blown up.
Now I'm pretty sure Holland is going to be throwing torps this way, so I'm not sure I want to sit here. Obviously I did not catch that in North Carolina. And Holland is reversing. So maybe I can catch him that way.
Smoke screen set.
That was my last puff of smoke, so I'm going to try and turn around and still be able to use that without putting myself in harm's way, I think. I want to, that smoke's got almost 2 minutes left. I want to make sure I'm not in the smoke, because if he throws torpedoes into it, I don't want to get smacked again. There he is, and because he's visible and I'm not, and there's nobody else on his team who can spot me, I'm going to get some free shots.
Torpedoes to port.
There are his torpedoes right through the smoke as predicted.
Torpedoes to port.
And at this range, unfortunately, even just 7 kilometers, the gearing guns begin to kind of lose their punch because they take so long to get there. You managed to get another fire started, but now I'm detected, so I better move forward. And I think I managed to catch the Brindisi with a torpedo. I think what I need to do, as our team has kind of turned things around, we're down 4, they're down 5 now. I need to rush this Holland and finish him off. I just don't want to eat a face full of torpedoes. And his reload is pretty quick.
Our team is taking the lead.
I don't think we have to worry about a cap threat. The Kagero's gone. He's probably going to try and make for Bravo. So I'm going to use the islands for cover. He has the advantage if we're using guns because he's firing behind him. And, there is math behind it, but because I'm accelerating towards his shells, they seem just that much faster relative to me. It makes it a lot easier for him to aim. Because he's running away from me, it makes it harder for my shells, already very floaty and slow, to hit him. So what I want to do is I want to try and catch him more or less stationary. And so he's in the cap. He's trying to cap right now. And I'm guessing he's probably sitting. He doesn't want to run out of the cap. And I'm just deciding which side I want my guns. I think I'm going to go this side and just leave it here. As you can see where the radio location indicator is. Implacable lights him up, and there he is. I'm going to get the guns on him right away. Didn't land but one shell, but I think at this point he's in big trouble. I've got more than double his HP.
Our victory is in sight.
And that probably will do it right there. Now I just have to avoid taking any big shots, and Cossack finishes him off. And that really does pretty much wrap up the game. We've got the Bravo cap, we've got the Charlie cap,
Problem solved, sir.
and got an opportunity here. I'm going to throw some torpedoes kind of out across there. I don't want to get radared. With only 11,000 HP, Seattle and Edinburgh, they would just chew me to pieces in maybe 2 volleys. So I'm just going to fall back. We've already got the game well in hand. Got the U-190 out there. And really, these 2 cruisers and the CV is all they have. Cossack's going to be pushing down this way. So, it was, Implacable says it was good even. It really was. It could have gone either way. I was able to get the better of the 2 DD players that were at the Charlie cap. But it doesn't always go that way. I'm using the island here to be able to lob some shells over the top. Just moving forward slightly, trying to maintain vision. Our CVs or our sub is in trouble there. I'm probably going to get detected here. Yeah. But that's alright, his guns were pointed elsewhere, and there's the radar. And I'm not sure whether that's Edinburgh radar or Seattle, but I need to get out of... Now he's got his guns pointed the other way, so I can just sit here and maybe light another fire. Now he's coming my way, so you can see I switched to AP, but now he's angled toward me, so I need to switch back to HE, but I think I'm going to wait to do that until I'm clear here. And I'll just use the island. I'll wait for the radar to wear off. There it goes. Now I don't want to get into hydro range, so I'm just going to kind of keep heading the way that I'm heading. Edinburgh is moving this way. You can use your torpedo indicator for that. And he may be trying to catch me. I'm out of detection range, I'm out of hydro range. And he's going to go nose into the island. So I think I'm going to turn here. I'm going to come to the starboard side, and maybe I get a torpedo opportunity on him. But time's going to run out, I think, before I'm going to be able to get any torpedoes on anybody. Seattle just seems to be kind of sitting. They're just working to secure the cap, get a little extra HP or experience points, I think. I don't think either of them has any real expectation that they have a chance of winning this game. Edinburgh is going to go nose in. I don't want to get... Okay, so there's another radar, and that's probably the Edinburgh radar. I'll throw the torps, but I'm sure he's going to back up and then head to the right side of your screen to try and avoid a torpedo strike. And I'm just angling up because his shells aren't going to be really effective against my angled hull. That's maybe the biggest disadvantage of those AP shells the Royal Navy light cruiser line use. I mean, you heard them hit, but they didn't really do anything. And just as I expected, he just kind of backed away there and went behind the island. Lexington's going to try and help him out, but Lexington's focusing on the Johann de Witt. And really, this game's over. There's no way they're going to win this thing. He's not even in the cap. He can back into the cap, but there's just not enough time. 5 minutes on the score, on the timer, of course, but when you look at the scoreboard and the fact that we've got the 2 caps, it's just not going to happen. So this was a fun one to play, particularly the early going when I was squaring off against both of those destroyers, and that's why I brought it to you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. If you have any questions, I'd love to see them in the comments area. Thanks very much for spending a little time with me. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.